Yo, 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 yo! What's up, all you burners, stoners, and potheads out there? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there? Mrs. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
How the hell are you?
I'm doing great.
I love it.
How are you?
Great. I'm doing great.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be back home. I was on the road again all week.
I know you are.
Glad to be back home. I'm going to be back on the road again for another week. Super stoked to sleep in my own bed. There's nothing better when you're stoned and sleeping in your own bed. Sleeping in a hotel room is fine, but sleeping in your own bed is the best, especially next to the one you love the most.
Oh, you're so romantic. I'm not.
Hopeless. I'm a hopeless romantic.
It's okay. That's a good quality.
It is a good quality. Talk about the British baking show. We've all told everybody that we have a little fantasy draft thing going on with this, and so I am in second place now. Paulie's in first at 15 points. I'm in second with 10. Mrs. Weeman's in third with 5. And Shawty, the producer, is in last place with 4 points. 4 points, Shawty. Sorry about that.
Well, I only have one more point than her, so.
Still not last. Still not last.
You and, yeah, you guys are pretty far ahead of us, though.
Yeah, you never
It just
know.
takes, like, we need one episode where we get some points. And
Yes.
either Sam or I could take over.
Yep. Shawty can come in at any time.
We can do it.
Overtake Paulie and become in first, but it is very hard to pick winners. Losers I've been good at.
Mm-hmm.
Winners, it's tough. Try to pick somebody to win the technical or the Star Baker. It is so tough to hit that, but it is fun doing it. So also, I haven't picked our new players yet for this week. We got to talk to Paulie about that and see who we're going to pick. So the new studio's come along well.
Yeah, we're making some progress with that. We're trying to set up a nice little studio so our sound quality is better. Hopefully,
Start having a guest on.
Yeah, if everything works out well, we'll be able to have video as well as audio recording. So we'll see.
You've done
We've
a
got
great
big
job.
plans, but we're not sure how it's all going to come together.
Painting
so.
came out really nice. Get the carpet in, and then we'll have it all nice and new
gonna
little
be nice.
studio. We're so excited about it. Only 22 years to redo that basement.
Yeah, right. We've been in our home for 22 years.
Yes. Some sad news. I was out of town all week, and I come home. I get a phone call from Mrs. Weedman, and a dog jumped our dog.
Attacked.
Literally attacked.
Out of
Yes.
nowhere.
Poor Yuki.
Me and Yuki were out for an afternoon walk and just doing our thing, sniffing. She's chasing leaves, chasing squirrels, having a good old time. Literally just minding our own business, do. And out of nowhere was a 107 some odd pound dog that was not happy. It just literally came out of nowhere. It was on someone's front porch. Questionable whether or not it was on a leash or if it just broke the leash. It was in a dead sleep on a porch behind a shrub. You couldn't even see him laying there. And he was just on Yuki before either of us could even figure out what was happening. And the owner, who had just tried to rehome this dog, was cleaning her car out, so she was just feet away, but she was not getting this dog under control. I think she was fearful of it because she had had an issue with it already. It was a hot mess and scary as shit. I was caught up between the leashes. You know, you just don't know what to do. It happens so fast. It's animals. The situation was completely out of control. And finally, she swept the dog up and got him out of there. And there was blood all over the sidewalk. So then it was like, where is the blood coming from? Thankfully, she had some scratches on her body, but no puncture wounds. But she had clawed at the sidewalk to try to get away. So she split her toenails. So there was just blood oozing out of her toes.
She's a champ, though.
Thankfully, yeah. I mean,
What a champ.
We stayed. We got her calm. The woman took me to the vet, dropped us off, and fortunately, Yuki loves going to the vet, so that was not a traumatic experience. And they cleaned her up and searched all over, and she seems to be fine. But my goodness, what a moment. And then Mr. Weedman was walking her today, and some big old St. Bernard came
running out
of someone's backyard.
Here's what I got to say. I understand your dogs might be friendly. You might have them unleashed, and you might think they're not going to run. I'm going to tell you what, after what just happened to Yuki the other day and what just happened with that St. Bernard today, I'm telling you what, people, you need to take care of your dogs. You need to make sure they're not chasing people. And granted, maybe I'm overreacting a little bit, but I'm telling you right now, if that St. Bernard got any closer, I was throwing full-on blows. I was ready. I was prepared. I ran with Yuki, and the dog started chasing us. And then I said, fuck this. I turned around, and I saw the dog still coming, and I saw the owner out by his driveway. I was probably about 50, 60 feet now away, yelling at the owner going, come get your effing dog now before I punish it. Meaning like, I'm going to kick the hell out of it right square in the nose. Like, it's going to get it.
I think that when you have a very friendly dog that is capable of being off leash, which is maybe what that St. Bernard was capable of, people don't realize that everybody's dog isn't the same. And so, I mean, Yuki's super friendly. She would play with anybody.
Right.
But what if our dog was an aggressive dog? And now this off-leash dog comes over because he's all palsy with everybody and tries to be friendly with our not friendly dog. Now we have a bad situation.
Right.
That's not even our fault.
And our dog's
so
friendly.
Anyway, yeah.
But the thing is you have to understand, after what just happened with Mrs. Weedman and Yuki, I'm going to be overprotective, and any dog that I don't know that's off leash that comes near me is getting socked.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's the friendliest dog ever. Right now, my guard is up. Mm-hmm. So out there, if you keep your dog off leash and you're nowhere to be found around your dog, you need to be around your dog.
Well, and there was a leash. I got caught between the leashes. I think that the dog that actually attacked Yuki when I was walking her literally snapped the leash. This dog was angry out of unprovoked, completely unprovoked, just crazy. And he either snapped the leash or it was one of those, it was too chaotic to figure out, or it was one of the ones that like stakes into the ground and he just ripped it out of the ground. He was on a leash. It was dragging behind him and it was caught around me.
I felt like I was in the fucking movie Cujo for a second though.
Yeah.
I was getting chased by a St. Bernard. I was like, Cujo, no, run away.
Oh, gosh.
And we do have bats in our neighborhood too, so
Crazy.
it was even more scary thinking like Cujo's coming to get me.
I will tell you, like having a big dog is a whole new world. I grew up with a big dog, but my dad did the dog walking, and actually that was back in the era of you just kind of, well, we did anyway. We just let our dog outside. And then a few hours later, you'd scream her name and she'd show up out of nowhere. She just roamed the neighborhood. But I did have a big dog growing up. It was just a much different time. We had small dogs when the kids were little, and we just never had any incidents. We went to the vet once a year, and they hung out in the backyard. We took them for walks randomly, but they were super easy, chill, no complexities.
High maintenance.
Holy high maintenance with this dog.
High maintenance.
She's super healthy. She's not problematic, but my goodness, I feel like there's a problem every week.
High maintenance.
Poor Yuki. Hopefully that's the last attack. Oh my gosh.
Well,
I don't know. Like maybe any of our fans, anyone that's listening, if you have a black dog, tell me, do you feel, is there like some commonality of black dogs being more threatening to other dogs? I don't know if it's because of her size and then the fact that she is just jet black. I mean, you can't even see her eyes. She's so dark. So I wonder if that has something to do with it. But anyway, yeah, a little crazy week. But she's great now, though. She's great. She's
since it's been crazy, let's smoke.
Let's smoke.
Light up that joint.
What are we smoking?
Weedman. We are smoking peanut butter cookies, also known as PB&, cookies. This is 24% THC, but it's a hybrid, so this is 65 to 35 indica sativa. Created by crossing the forum cookies and peanut butter breath. Named for its super delicious flavor, peanut butter cookies taste exactly like fresh, sugary batch of sweet peanut butter cookies. Mrs. Weedman, you have to let me know. The aroma is very similar, although with hints of spicy herbs to it. The peanut butter cookies high is just as delightful with full body relaxation. Will have you kicking back in no time at all. You'll feel a little euphoric. It'll boost some on-site euphoria of the high, filling your mind with a sense of lightness that is accompanied by calming bliss. This effect will soon spread throughout the rest of your body in warming waves, calming any aches and pains and leaving you feeling fully relaxed from head to toe. With the THC level being around 15 to 23%, mine's 24 that I got. Peanut butter cookies is often chosen to treat conditions such as chronic pain, cramps, muscle spasms, depression, chronic stress, insomnia. The bud has tapered bright neon green nugs with golden amber undertones, thick orange hairs, and thick frosty blanket of golden amber crystal trichomes. That smells fantastic, by the way. Effects: body high, calming, happy, relaxing, uplifting. Relieves chronic pain, cramps, depression, muscle spasms, and stress. It's nutty. The flavors are nutty, spicy, sugary, and sweet, and the aromas are earthly, herbal, nutty, spicy, and sweet. I would say
All of the above.
all of the above, right? Yeah, I would
And
say
it's
that.
it's a pre-roll, but a full-size pre-roll.
Oh, it's a grammar, yeah.
And it's burning really nicely.
Yeah.
It's quite nice.
Nice. Pretty packed, too. It smells fantastic.
We've had some pre-rolls lately that are almost too packed. And it's really hard to get a smoke out of them.
Yeah.
This one's quite nice. Yeah, I like it.
Tastes good.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get the effects on it. It smells fantastic, though. I mean, it's
good.
really nice. Definitely going to have some more of that tonight. You ready to get the show started?
I'm ready. I got to stop smoking. Do you want any more?
No, give me a minute. But I did want to, I'm trying to find in my Instagram. First and foremost, I'd like to wish Sam, the winner of our pumpkin bong contest. Sam, great job. I mean, you killed it, man, with that chainsaw bong.
It was great.
Pumpkin bong,
Thank
right?
you for participating,
Yes,
Sam.
we appreciate you. So, but I had somebody else I wanted to read. Someone sent me an awesome DM, and I'm trying to find it on the show real quick, on the Instagram real quick. It's he sent me saying how much he really liked the show and everything. All the information we give has helped us, has helped him really understand weed and help him with all of his ailments and stuff like that. I just can't find it right now. I'll have to really look for it another time, but I'll find it and we'll get it going. So let's get the show started then. An overabundance of cannabis production in the United States. Things you didn't know. I posted this last week about the overabundance of cannabis production, and you've heard me talk about production, overuse of water. In Canada, they got rid of 1.5 million grams not too long ago of just wasted cannabis. You're going to see this with so many cultivators in each state. So much weed being produced. There is an overabundance, and there's not enough smokers. Let's just be honest. There's not enough because it's not federally legal yet, and a lot of states still aren't totally recreational yet, or AU, adult use, that we're seeing an overabundance of being produced. Too many producers, not enough consumers, and this is what's going to happen. We're going to have a lot of waste, and it's sad that we're wasting all this cannabis out there and this overproduction of cannabis that it's just like what we see with food, right? Mm-hmm. How much food is being overproduced and wasted? How much are we taking from the oceans? And I mean, 1.4 or isn't it 100 million sharks? Yes, 100 million sharks a year are harvested out of the ocean. And
why?
For their fin.
For their fin.
For one fin, or for 4 fins, or how many fins they take. How much is being wasted, though? How much? It's terrible how much food, how much overproduction of farming we do, and half of that gets wasted, where we could feed people around the world. This is the same thing we're seeing with beef and chicken and pork. How much meat is being wasted? What is all that after it's been sitting for 4 days and you got to throw it out? What are we doing with it? You know, are we giving it away? Are we just throwing it out? It's the same thing we're going to see with cannabis. All this overproduction of flower is going to just get dumped and burned or thrown in the soil and be overturned, and so no one can ever use it. I think it is fucking asinine that we produce so much. We're an overconsumers or overproduction of stuff to be wasted when cannabis can be given out as medicine for people who can't afford it. Mm-hmm. So as we overproduce, because it's federally illegal and you're not allowed to do it, and state laws don't allow you to give stuff away, this is what we're going to see, and it's going to be disastrous for the environment. How much water it takes to produce cannabis, and you got pounds upon pounds being thrown away. All that water. I mean, listen, I'm not the greatest environmentalist. I don't claim to be. I keep an eye on everything, and I'm always reading about the environment. And am I perfect? Absolutely, 100% not. Okay, but waste is so bad, and it upsets me how much water is being wasted, how much food's being wasted. Your 3 major things in this world that you need to survive is more wasted than anything else. Besides air, but it's getting polluted, so it's being wasteful. Food, which you need to survive, is being wasted, which we need to survive and eat every day. And then you have water, which is you can't survive without the three of those. The Mississippi River is drying up. Okay? If you don't even know that, and if you're looking out west, there's like lakes and reservoirs drying up. That we've had no rain the last 6 months. And even in the Midwest where it rains all the time. There's the driest I've ever seen. And overproducing of cannabis it's not good for the environment. I'm sorry. You can kill the messenger if you want. I'm just telling you, as much as I love cannabis, we overproduce, underconsume right now, and it's just going to get wasted. You also have the black market too, which is cannabis is ending up there. I bet some of these people who are selling legal cannabis that can't get rid of their legal cannabis to dispensaries are selling it black market. You have to. It's the only way you're going to survive.
You're assuming that.
I'm not assuming nothing. I'm just saying what I read and what I know.
What you read, right.
Okay? I don't blame them. Not at all. If you got fucking 500 pounds and you only go able to sell 250 with another 250 pounds that's sitting, that's your money for the year, I would fucking sell it. Mm-hmm. I got to survive. And then you're not wasting it.
Right.
It's also because we can't cross state lines with all this cannabis, all this waste. I mean, you have...
Well, and then the limitations of, well, now it's recreational, but in states where it's medical, then there's limitations. There's only so many patients. And then with the stigmas, maybe somebody wants to get their card, but they don't have it. So, yeah. So you have dispensaries because you get your licenses. You want to get open, right, and get into business, but you don't have enough customers. That was how most of the states.
Yeah.
That was the problem they were having.
But it's not. It's just that it's overproducing. You have so much.
Right.
I mean, yeah, you can probably turn it into distillate. You could turn it into concentrates, but still, you still can't use it all. I mean, you got some good code dates on it, but you still can't use it all, and it's getting wasted.
It's almost like the big picture. Like if our state has 28 cultivation centers?
26 right now.
26. So if there's 26 and
but not all of them are running.
Okay. Well, here's my thing. Like if they took the amount of sales of cannabis, legal cannabis in the state, and then decided, okay, well, if this is the pattern and we're going to see 25% growth next year, this is how much weed we'll have to have. If they could scale back those numbers and then tell cultivation centers, you're going to probably want to have, 2 tons of flower this year based on numbers. And everybody does that. Then they're not overproducing. Like right now, they're probably producing as much as they can with the thoughts that there's going to be.
I have a
you don't want to miss the
solution,
market.
maybe that Oregon did. So, but here's some results, okay? Mm-hmm. So Oregon is kind of doing this, but let's read a little bit more. And it has a potential to reduce overabundance in the long run. Oregon has been averaging something to the tune of 4.5 million pounds produced annually. For context, California, a significantly larger state, consumes an estimated 2.5 million pounds of cannabis annually. That's a significantly larger supply than there is a demand, and the ramifications can be quite severe. You see price dips. You see farm closures. You'll see dispensary closures too, eventually. You'll see product destruction. Final products that can't be sold will inevitably get destroyed, burned, and not in a fun way to make room for fresher products. The actual estimate of how much legal cannabis is destroyed annually are imprecise. Most legal states keep the record sealed. In Canada, however, it was shown that vendors had to destroy. I was off. Sorry. I said 100 million grams. It's 425 million grams of legal product last year.
Wow.
28 grams in an ounce, right?
Yeah.
How many ounces is that? How many pounds is that? I mean, it's waste. Mm-hmm. Give it away. Give it to oh my gosh. So, solution. Is there really a solution? Burning excessive cannabis is not a sustainable long-term solution, but what's to be done? Context is important here. Legal cannabis is still relatively young. Local producers will naturally correct supply on their own in the coming years to avoid waste. This can better be accomplished using analytics, data that will allow producers to make very precise estimates for how much they can expect to sell. This will reduce the cost and the risk of overproduction. Like you were saying, they'll get better as time goes along. They'll have to adjust with analytics, but a lot of them are so new, they don't know how much to produce, and they're young businesses that have to learn this.
And they don't want to underproduce and then miss out on sales, right?
I'd rather sell out than burn out.
Supply and demand.
I'd rather sell out.
Oh, I know.
You know, and then you just, you make more as you need it. I know the outdoor grow, it's a little difficult, but indoor grow, stop overproducing. Learn your numbers.
The magic is making enough and having less waste.
100%. Are we entering an era of the high-powered female stoner? Is it here?
I think it's gonna be. It's getting there. I've got an article.
I've met some really powerful, strong-minded, career female stoners in this industry, and it's amazing.
Yep.
It's awesome. I mean, trustworthy, honorable, integrity, passion. I mean, I've been nothing but impressed by all the female stoners I've met, and especially in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll let you take over.
Okay. That's like super mellow weed.
Oh, it's nice.
I know.
I love it. My whole body is just like
ready for. I'm just spacey. Okay. Well, are we entering the era of the high-powered female stoner? When Kenza was 20 years old and studying law at the London University, she would come back to her room at 3 a.m, her mind racing, and find herself unable to sleep. Her male university friends were smoking weed, so she tried it, enjoying how relaxed it made her feel. Before long, it became literally the only way I could physically shut down my brain from thinking about case law, she says. 10 years on, and Kenza, who has worked in some of the city's top law firms and banks, and recently joined an environmental startup, smokes a joint most evenings to unwind from a hectic day's work and an equally busy social life. She is one of London's many high-powered female smokers who are paying particular attention to the progress made by Sadiq Khan's Drug Commission, the first body of its kind to consider the outcomes of various drug policies from around the world, in particular those relating to cannabis. A 2019 poll found that 63% of Londoners were in favor of legalizing it, emulating countries such as Canada and Thailand, as well as 19 American states. The possession of cannabis has been decriminalized in Amsterdam since the 1970s, with recreational use tolerated across the country. While Portugal, which decriminalized all drugs in 2001, is considering legalizing cannabis altogether. To decriminalize a drug simply means that its possession cannot result in criminal charges. To legalize it involves removing all penalties, including fines, associated with its use. For many cannabis smokers, legal regulation for recreational use would help shift some of the stigma around being a stoner, which is so often depicted negatively. Think stereotypical deadbeat characters who speak slowly and get nothing done, from his dudeness, the aging hippie played by Jeff Bridges in The Big Lebowski, to Seth Rogen's slacker stoner in Knocked Up. People who smoke weed on screen are never portrayed as functioning adults, says Kenza. And I think that really shapes the narrative around weed smokers. People think we're bums or criminals with nothing going on in our lives, and they are almost exclusively male. The only female smoker I've seen on screen was in Top Boy. She continues, referring to the gang member played by Jasmine Jobson. Kenza also gets frustrated with media scaremongering, which has meant that older generations assume that cannabis is a gateway drug and that she will end up a crack addict, something her own parents have worried about. Meanwhile, Lucy, 29, who works in real estate, smokes up to twice a weekend with her partner as an alternative to alcohol, allowing her to be light, happy, and relaxed without feeling groggy the next day. The female that smoke in shows like Zendaya and Euphoria are portrayed as helpless young women with problems at home, she notes. There's always this negative story behind it. Lucy tends to keep the fact that she smokes private, but when she has told people, there's often surprise or judgment, particularly from other women. I am a well-rounded, active person who goes into the office regularly. I go to the gym 5 times a week, and I'm on top of my social and professional life, she says. People just think it's a drug habit that means that you're either unambitious or that you have mental health issues. When in fact, for many women, cannabis is integral to maintaining their physical and mental health. For Rachel, a senior philanthropy manager at a major UK charity who smokes up to 3 times a week, cannabis relieves the intensity of contemporary culture, and its anti-inflammatory properties also help her calm her migraines as well as her psoriasis. She combines smoking with a body spray she makes at home, mixing cannabis with oil for when she has skin flare-ups. Azra, a GP and private physician who smokes every evening after work, says she uses weed to help calm her anxiety and temper her high levels of emotion. The health impact of cannabis is still hotly contested by both sides of the political divide. While medical cannabis was legalized in the UK in November of 18, it is incredibly difficult to access. Studies are constantly linking it to harmful side effects such as high blood pressure, inflamed lungs, problems with memory and coordination, as well as an increased risk of heart failure and psychotic illnesses. This is partially a result of cannabis getting a lot stronger, with THC content increasing by 14% from 1970 to 2017, according to research by the University of Bath. Skunk is an issue now, says Swartz, a 35-year-old finance and HR manager for 4 creative companies, who has been smoking for 20 years and has noticed the increase in strength. That fucking shit messes with your mind, she said. And that's why people think stoners are dumb. On the flip side, research has also suggested it can help those suffering from epilepsy and cancer and recommend it as a much safer alternative to pain medication like opiates. Studies have also found weed is less detrimental to the brain than alcohol, the abuse of which is one of the biggest killers of working adults in the United Kingdom, according to government research. It doesn't make sense that weed is demonized while we continue to glamorize and normalize the use of and abuse of alcohol, says Kenza. According to Statista, in 2020 in the UK, there were 8,974 alcohol-related deaths. In the UK, Queen Victoria was prescribed cannabis by her physician to relieve the pain from her menstrual cramps. While cannabis became legal in the UK in 1928, doctors were able to prescribe cannabis for medical use up until 1971, when the Misuse of Drug Act came in force, labeling drugs as either Class A, B, or C. The UK's conservative attitude towards the drug was largely influenced by media propaganda and racism, with politicians claiming that cannabis was causing madness abroad. American media mogul William Randolph Hearst was also using his tabloids to run a smear campaign against hemp. Hearst had significant investments with the timber industry, so he published painfully racist articles that described cannabis as inducing minorities to take advantage of white women and create satanic music known as jazz. With panic heightened, cannabis was criminalized in the U.S. in 1937.
Assling are you?
Yeah. Kenza adds, weed is stigmatized because it's associated with more marginalized members of society. So if London were to legalize cannabis, what would the impact be for female smokers? Improved health more than anything, because I really want what I smoke to be regulated by health professionals, says Azra, who is concerned about the toxic and harmful chemicals that can be found in bad cannabis. Then there's the physical safety to consider. Azra and Kenza, who live alone, would much rather not have to interact with drug dealers on a regular basis, and they want to shop having smokes in private. And they want to stop having to smoke in private. I would love to be able to smoke in public spaces, she said, while Rachel would like to better manage her chronic health conditions without having a sense of shame around certain friends, family, and colleagues that I'm resorting to some illegal activity. All of these women hope that decriminalizing weed would help to better reduce crime and imprisonment and make better use of money spent on policing. But legalization wouldn't necessarily shift the judgment often directed toward female smokers on account of their gender. While many men in the public eye, from Paul McCartney to Elon Musk, are known to smoke, it would be difficult to name any female celebrities who do so as easily. It would be great to have some cool female alternatives to the famous male weed smokers, says Rachel. The problem is societal, because women get judged differently from men for everything, from partying too much to being too aggressive in the office, adds Kenza, whose ex-partner took issue with her smoking. Socially, women are meant to aspire to marriage and motherhood, and for many people, weed doesn't really fit into that. But the more successful, ambitious, and high-functioning women speak up about the benefits of cannabis as a positive lifestyle choice, then the more we can shake, I wanted to say stomp, the stigma. Yeah.
Are consumers turning to cannabis concentrates, you think, more? I know we are, because we smoked hash all weekend.
It's possible.
We smoked hash out of the Zenko all weekend, and I picked
did.
up some phenomenal hash when I was out in Michigan. And we've been smoking a lot. So I know more and more consumers are turning to cannabis concentrates because as it gets a little bit cheaper, people are willing to try it. Because before, a gram of concentrates was like $80-$90.
Oh, wow.
Michigan was 30.
Oh, wow. Oh.
30 I got one, but I also got one for 62. So, and this one's the one we smoked all weekend. We were ripped. So, but yeah, consumers are turning to cannabis concentrates. Why? Because it's a little bit cheaper. Now that cannabis, the price of cannabis is going down, so people are willing to try the high-powered of like a live resin, a wax, a rosin, hash, bubble hash, you name it, they're trying it. So it's good because as you experiment with different ways to smoke cannabis, you might find something that you like even better than just smoking a joint. So keep on going out there and smoking cannabis concentrates and just get experience with them. Start low and go slow, as we always say. Yes, Mrs. Weedman, we were pretty high last night, but we ripped that hash. Mm-hmm. Man, it was tasty as hell.
It was good.
Blueberry yogurt.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, it was fantabulous. I enjoyed the hell out of it. So I cannot wait to get back into town to smoke more out of my hash. There is no mixing of drugs in cannabis, and there's some bad drugs that you can mix with cannabis. And Mrs. Weedman is going to tell you all about it right now.
Well, there's not bad drugs you can mix with cannabis, but there might be drugs that it would be bad to mix with cannabis.
There you go. Drugs you don't want to mix with cannabis.
Cannabis is considered a relatively safe drug, and as time passes, medical professionals are finding more and more use for it as medicine. From helping those with multiple sclerosis to an FDA-approved medicine derived from cannabis to treat epilepsy, cannabis is finding its footing and rooting itself firmly in the medical community. Still, just like with nearly every substance we put into our bodies, there are certain medicines that just don't mix well with weed. What's more is that while weed can have often desirable effects, these effects can sometimes be dire for those with certain medical conditions. Testing and research is limited, as cannabis is still illegal on a federal level. However, here's a list of medications and conditions that are currently thought to have adverse effects when mixed with cannabis. Opioids and sedatives. Opioids and sedatives come with their own risks even when they are not combined with other substances. When they are combined with weed, however, their effect can be heightened and amplified, which can be dangerous. Weed's biggest known impact with opioids, sleep medications, muscle relaxants, and alcohol because all affect the central nervous system, according to Salem Health. If you're prescribed opioids or sedatives, but also want to use weed for recreational or medical purposes, talk to your physician first. Blood thinners. Cannabis and blood thinners are another potentially dangerous combination. Cannabis can cause blood thinners to work excessively well, which can have dangerous consequences. Cannabis can increase the levels of which a blood thinner like warfarin that is in your body, which can lead to excessive bleeding, according to NBC News. Cannabis combined with certain blood thinners can thin your blood to dangerous levels, so it is imperative you know whether or not the blood thinning drugs that you are taking might be affected by cannabis use. Even if the drugs may not cause severe side effects like excessive bleeding, they may otherwise change the drug's effectiveness. Using weed while on a statin or a blood thinner can change how the drug works in the body. Lead author Dr. Muthia, a cardiologist at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston, told NBC News. Anxiety or depression medications, or SSRIs and benzodiazepines, another group of drugs that can have negative and even dangerous consequences when mixed with cannabis, are medications meant to treat anxiety and depression. More specifically, SSRIs like Cipralex and Prozac, and also benzodiazepines like Xanax and Valium, can both have adverse effects when mixed with cannabis. One reason it's a bad idea to mix these drugs with weed is that both types are mood altering. The challenge for people who have mood disorders or depression is that every time they're using cannabis, they're taking another psychoactive drug. Dr. Timothy Brennan, director of Addiction Institute at Mount Sinai West and Mount Sinai St. Luke's hospitals, told Women's Health. And that can make it very challenging for a patient or physician to figure out what drug is actually having an effect on what, Brennan continued. Tamoxifen. While medical cannabis is often prescribed for cancer patients undergoing treatment, one medication in particular should never be taken with cannabis. Tamoxifen, which is one drug used to combat breast cancer, may have its benefits negated when combined with cannabis. If pot interferes with the process of tamoxifen, it could cause the breast cancer patient to receive little to no benefit from the drug. Philip Lazarus, a professional of pharmaceutical sciences at Washington State University, told WebMD. This should be a sobering reminder to always consult your physician about your cannabis use when you are on any type of life-saving or critical medication. Continued challenges with the lack of research. While the medications we listed above could be dangerous or pose risks when mixed with cannabis, there still needs to be more research conducted. Unfortunately, even though more people now smoke weed than cigarettes in this country, there have been limited trials on how pharmaceuticals interact with it. This is one strong argument as to why there needs to be reclassification of cannabis. Taking it off of the Schedule I drug list would allow for significantly more research on the substance and would improve how we understand its ways and interactions within our bodies and the other substances that we have in our body.
That's good. I didn't know about the weed and the tamoxifen.
I didn't know that either.
The other one is too. We know people
the blood thinners too.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
The one thing too is it's not just cannabis though too. There's other herbs out there and spices and stuff you're not supposed to take when you're taking certain medications.
Right.
I know somebody that can't take turmeric because there's a medication that person can't have. That can't mix turmeric because it cancels out the medication. So it's not. This is something that you just need to look out for and read up and be knowledgeable on what cannabis is. Great. We all know it's great, but it's just like aspirin and nitroglycerin. It's
not for everybody.
You can't mix those two together; you'll die. So. Nevada judge orders cannabis to be removed from the state's list of controlled substances. Good for that. And saying the state of the Board of Pharmacy does not have the authority to regulate cannabis and ordered cannabis to be removed from the state's list of controlled substances. Good for you, Judge. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Here was something I posted. Cannabis is a more valuable crop than potatoes or rice. Crazy. It's like the 6th largest crop right now. Corn, soybeans, hay, wheat, cotton, and cannabis. Hell yeah. It's going to go even further than that soon. Watch. Arizona almost nears $1 billion in legal sales for 2022. Go Arizona, man. That's great. Illinois had a slightly increase in sales for October. Did 131 million for the month of October. They increased 133.8 billion for the year. So far. Oh, man, they're crushing it. Go Illinois. New York is scrapping testing limits for bacteria, mold, and yeast, saying their testing limits for them were a little over high, so they're just going to throw it out and see what happens. That's not good. Smoke some mold, watch you throw up. Here's something that I hate. And I saw this in the liquor and beer industry when I came from that industry. Retailers would charge slotting fees. And a slotting fee is you're paying to be on the shelf, or you're paying to have your display put up. And you're paying that company to actually sell your beer now. Instead of them making profit, them buying it normally and then them selling it for a retail price and make a profit. But there's also ways to go about to make some extra cash. And if you want to be in certain areas of the store, you want to be on the shelf, you pay a slotting fee. And the cannabis industry in certain states are doing it, and now it's hitting Michigan too. I've heard of it in California. I've heard of it in some other states, and now Michigan is trying to do this. Listen here. I couldn't stand it in the beer and liquor industry, and I'm not going to stand for it in the cannabis industry. It's fucking total horseshit. If you make companies that are trying to survive right now pay a sliding fee to be on your shelf while you're making money off their brand on top of it, you're wrong. I think sliding fees it should be illegal for every industry. I'm sorry. If you can't make your money on a regular way of doing business, and if you have to price gouge and you have to price that say it's a small business owner, small craft business owner. Say if it's a small little business that just started, 5,000 square feet, just spent $10 million and they have no money, and you ask them for $5,000 to be on their shelves, fuck you. I won't smoke your cannabis and won't even go to your store. Period. And I hope you go out of business. Next. Slotting fees. Florida medical cannabis patients base grew about 25% in 2022 so far. You need to go wreck Florida. I posted this and I thought it was so interesting because I truly believe that The Emperor Wears No Clothes, written by Jack Herrera, he said hemp can save the world and it will save the world one day. But they're making batteries from hemp.
Yeah.
Tell us about it, Mrs. Weedman.
Researchers make batteries from hemp. That's like a cheer. I'm a cheerleader.
Oh, shit.
All right. Researchers at BEMP Research Corporation have developed a lithium sulfur battery that is more cost effective, has a higher performance, and is more recyclable than lithium ion batteries, thanks to a helpful material, hemp. The company uses carbonized hemp rather than heavy metals like cobalt or nickel, making batteries that are lightweight and durable. While many researchers globally have been looking into ways to use graphene for better EV batteries, it is still an expensive material that cannot be scaled up for mass production. Hemp is a better, lower-cost solution. Hemp's durability can help the cathode withstand hundreds of cycles of contraction and expansion. Sun Nguyen, founder of BEMP Research, told Energy Tech. The use of hemp also means these batteries could have a smaller impact on the environment. Professors at Northwestern University, who are not involved with BEMP research, found that cobalt mining in particular has harsh consequences on communities, including increased violence, food and water insecurity, and health challenges. The working conditions are often unethical and dangerous for workers. Mining for heavy metal, including cobalt, can also pollute soil, water, and air, contaminate food supplies, and increase risk of respiratory and reproductive health issues. BEMP Research said its hemp batteries require only one heavy metal, lithium. This also means the batteries are far easier to recycle than lithium-ion batteries. Sulfur is very abundant. Boron is also relatively abundant, with the biggest boron mine being in California, Nguyen said. We also have a strategic partnership with Delta Agriculture, the biggest hemp producer in the USA. Delta Agriculture highlights that hemp is a legal crop that requires little water, no pesticides, and is better at carbon sequestration than trees. Sequestration. Big one. The company explained in the interview with Energy Tech that using an abundant crop like hemp and other materials that are more widely available than heavy metals can alleviate supply chain issues, lead to less costly manufacturing, and create batteries that are safer in the event that they are damaged. The hemp battery is less likely to combust if damaged compared to lithium-ion batteries, making it a safer alternative. Under tests, the batteries show that they can be charged in 20 minutes and are expected to last 100,000 miles. That's a lot. With fast charging or more. Okay, so 100,000 miles with fast charging and more mileage with slow charging. The team hopes to scale to mass production by 2026, and the batteries will be especially suitable for heavy-duty electric trucks and electric airplanes. I don't think I want to fly in that plane.
I do.
You do?
Sure. Stoned.
Yeah. Crash landing.
Well, international news. Czechoslovakia is on its way to legalizing cannabis.
Wow.
They're following right behind Germany. So they saw what Germany's doing. They want to be one of the top Europe's top cannabis producers, but also their users too. And the black market's starting to dry up there. So they're looking for ways to, hey, we have a lot of smokers in this country. Black market ain't doing it. Traditional market ain't doing it for us. So we might as well do it ourselves. Great. Also hoping to reduce the risk. I want to drink a Czech-style Pilsner in Prague and smoke a big fat joint. That's what I want to do.
Let's do it.
So hurry up and get it done.
Okay.
There's another article here about Kathmandu in Nepal. And because of us and our meddling in cannabis overseas, and because of the Nixon era, who really declared war on drugs in 1971, and basically Henry Kissinger said, Nepal's not going to follow what you're doing here. There's going to be opposition. So they put some pressure on Nepal, which, I mean, you're in the Himalaya Mountains. Fucking Himalaya Kush. This is where Kush came from. This is where, like, some of the greatest strains ever in Nepal, and it's a sacred plant there. And they wind up destroying the crops because of pressure that the United States Narcotic and Drug Control Act put on them. And in 1976, they passed a Narcotic Drugs Control Act also in Nepal and banned cannabis, which is a sacred plant in that country.
Whoa.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
So now they're starting to get back into it again. Activists in Nepal have organized advocacy campaigns and street protests over the past decade and eventually began working with lawmakers on legislation that legalize cannabis, so which is great. And the soil and the climate of Nepal is well suitable for the growth of various species of cannabis and hemp, so which is even better. So we're hopefully going to get some great strains coming from Nepal again. And it is a sacred plant there, and it's got some hurdles. They got to get farmers back onto it again because of the war on drugs and foreign powers. It's hurt them a little bit, so we'll see if we can get some fucking Himalaya Kush from the true mountains again one day. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You feel me?
I feel you.
I want to feel some of that Nepal cannabis one day. So, Remember the movie Hocus Pocus?
Yeah, there was just a new
part 2, right?
Yeah.
I love that movie.
I think it's was it a part 2 or was it a remake?
Maybe a part 3?
I don't.
Who knows? Anyway,
Part
there was
two
an actor on there from the original one, right? That was stoned from the time they filmed the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about it, Mrs. Weedman.
Hocus Pocus actor Omri Katz. Omri Katz.
I think it's Omari. I think it's Omari.
Omari Katz admitted that he was totally stoned while filming the movie. This is a while back, too.
Yeah, a long time ago.
As part of an exclusive roundtable interview with the OG Hocus Pocus stars, the actor tells EW that he wasn't just running on Halloween energy on the set of the 1993 Disney classic. The then 16-year-old was actually high while filming a key scene for the film.
1990, that long ago that movie
stoner.
was filmed.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That was at an age where I started experimenting with cannabis. Let's just say some of those scenes, I was having a good old time, Katz recalls, adding that he doesn't remember exactly which scenes. I'll tell you what I do remember. I was misperforming and not hitting my keys or marks. Kenny Ortega, the director, comes up to me and practically grabs me by the shirt, and he's like, "Are you high?" And I was like, no. And of course I was. Katz continues. We got it done. But that was kind of a wake-up call. Like Omri, You've got to be a little more professional and make sure you hit your cues. His co-star, Vanessa Shaw, butts in, laughing as she tells him that she remembers it happening during a sequence at the beginning of the filming that sees Winifred Sanderson, played by Bette Midler, zapping Max, played by Katz, with a bolt of green magic inside the witch's cottage. Yeah, but I didn't look like I was getting zapped, Katz responds. I looked like I looked like I was getting high. Katz previously told EW in a statement that he was excited over the new direction of the sequel, saying, "I think it'll be good for everyone who loved the original. I hope fans will go see it. I know I will." Katz originally portrayed Max, a Los Angeles teen who moved to Salem, where he and his sister, Danny, played by Thora Birch, team with a local girl, Allison, played by Vanessa Shaw, on Halloween night to thwart the return of the Sanderson sisters' witches.
Hell yeah.
Stoner.
I mean,
That's cute.
I mean, I remember our kids watching that movie, and so we watched it, and I wouldn't even realize that. Now I'm going to have to watch it again and see how stoned
If
he
you
was.
could tell.
If you could tell.
I mean, he's only 16.
Right. So just got to look at his eyes. This news just blasted on Friday. I was in my car driving, and all of a sudden I just checked some articles, and all of a sudden this was all over the news. I mean, crazy. So Columbia Care was bought by Cresco. Cresco is a multi-state operator, vertically integrated in a lot of states. Multi-state operator, vertically integrated means that they have both dispensaries and cultivation, or if you're just a multi-state operator, you multi-state in other states. You might not have cultivation, but you have dispensaries, or you might have a cultivator with no dispensaries, whatever. So Cresco is one of the largest cannabis companies in the United States. They are even larger now since they bought Columbia Care, but they had excess dispensaries or cultivation in some states that you're only allowed to have so many licenses for both. So they had excess, and their time was coming up to have to get rid of these and figure out what they wanted to do. And who comes along? Dun, dun, dun! P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Sean P. Diddy Combs. If you don't know him, he is a music producer, hip-hop artist, and also, I mean, billionaire now. He's got billionaire status. He a few weeks ago came up billionaire. So, but also the founder of one of my favorite. I mean, Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G. I mean,
he's always done well.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge lover of his music. I mean, but he's had some of the best hip hop artists ever underneath his.
I always thought he was awful cute.
So
Just saying.
he purchased the assets of 3 states from Columbia Care and Cresco Labs, forming the country's largest black-owned cannabis company, according to the deal announced on Friday. Entertainment mogul Sean P. Diddy Combs announced on Friday that he is launching what is billed to be the world's largest black-owned cannabis brand with a $185 million purchase of existing licenses cannabis operations in 3 states. Combs is purchasing the business operations from Cresco and Columbia, 2 multi-state cannabis operators that are required to divest the assets to complete previously announced mergers of the 2 companies. So I think it's Illinois. I don't know. I got to look up some more of this, but it's a $185 million deal. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And under the new deal, the new firm controlled by Combs will acquire 9 cannabis retail stores and 3 production facilities in New York, Illinois, and Massachusetts. In return, Combs will pay $110 million in cash and another $45 million in debt financing, plus future payments based on growth benchmarks for a total of amount of $185 million. That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
You're man 3 states right off the bat.
Sweet.
You know, and you got facilities now.
Sweet for Cresco, too.
Yeah.
That's a big sale.
Yeah. And Combs said he will leverage the new enterprise to help increase black participation in the cannabis industry, a goal supported by Cresco CEO Charlie Batchel. This was all over the place. I mean, don't forget, Cresco just bought Columbia Care for $2 billion back in March. So huge. And that put them in 18 states. So they gave some stuff they had to give up, but they're also helping social equity. With a successful business owner like P. Diddy, you know, and he can now pursue his goal in being in cannabis too, and helping maybe even get into more, because now he has this under his belt. He can probably get in more states now, and probably get some investors too, and help the black community out and grow even more in the cannabis industry. So I think that's awesome. Good for him. Good for just the way of cannabis moving around. You're going to see it a lot of buyouts, a lot of this and that. But good for whether you like Cresco or not, or Columbia Care or any of the big corporate cannabis. You know what? This is good for somebody else to get a shot. That's all I got to say about it. So, I mean, if you don't like it or you do like it, I think it's good for the industry. I think it'll help. I think it'll help because those places were going to either have to be shut down for a while then, and then people would have lost jobs. And he comes in and going to build the brand, his brand. So good for him. I found that I was talking about earlier. I couldn't find it on my Instagram. The person who wrote us about his name or this person's name is 420 No Fear Medic, and I sent him some stickers too, which is awesome. And he lives up in Wyoming. So, and I'm going to read what he wrote because it moved me, and I finally got a chance to read it, and I didn't forget this time. The last couple shows I forgot because I was too stoned. So, just wanted to shout out to you. Your show has assisted me in my path of staying off opioids. I am 5 years on the journey from getting a sinus infection that moved into my thoracic back 4 major surgeries later, 3 of those within a span of a month. I suffered from severe nerve, muscle, and post-surgical pains. Doctors moved me to opioids, and due to my hard-headedness, I overpushed myself. I got off the pain pills for 6 months, and due to the damage left from my infection, a spinal infusion was the only suggestion. I get fused and pushed harder only to still have pain and get referred to a pain clinic. I pushed to get off the pills, but nothing helped. My health was junk, and a past EMT firefighter, I was beating myself up. Utah finally cleared the medicinal use of cannabis. My primary doctor cleared me and attempted to educate me, and best she could. I hardly knew anything. I studied the best I could and talked to a number of users. All gave me such broad info. Your show has been such a great resource for me, and I have truly enjoyed listening to them during my commute to and to get a source of freedom. I am well over a year sober of opioids.
Wow, that's awesome.
I still suffer severe pain and nerve issues, but with how I am treating it with cannabis, I have become more active and am able to try and regain a life worth living. Please keep up the shows and know you're making a difference with your knowledge base and ability to communicate. Thanks much.
Oh, thank you.
420 No Fear Medic. If you want to follow him and give him a shout out.
I will do that.
So thank you so much for the kind words. Mrs. Weedman and I will keep on fighting the good fight and keep on doing our best each and every day to learn and grow and help others learn and grow, because that's the education is the premise of our show.
Yes, it is.
And stopping this stigma so you don't have to ever be scared to try cannabis and free the plant so you can grow it yourself.
And a little plug for 8 Decades. We finally have our smoking set in stock.
Yay!
It hit the website on Friday. It is ready to ship. Check out our social media so you could see how the little multi-tool works and what everything looks like, and order yourself one. It's like amazing.
It's very pretty.
It's wonderful.
I will have to say this. It was 2 years in the making.
Yeah.
Mrs. Weedman.
Hours and hour, beyond hours.
Yes.
Months.
Yes. Months upon months with our product
and
designers
planning
and our developers and our producers and all the phone calls and all the emails and all the Skype calls and all the running around and to where we finally have the product.
We have a brand.
It's a badass brand.
And we've got some fun stuff. So check it out. And we have free shipping on orders over $75. The code is SMOKESESH, SMOKESESH, and you will have free shipping. So get yourself a set, get yourself something. I don't know. You need some 8 decades in your life.
And we've talked about the premise of 8 decades. Don't let there be a 9th.
That's right.
Hey, everybody out there in the world, we love you. We thank you for listening. We thank you for always DMing us, participating in the Share Your Grow on Fridays and Show Your Grow on Fridays and Smoke Sesh Sundays, and just hitting me up and DMing me. And I almost lost my Instagram last week. Remember that, Mrs. Weedman?
Yeah.
Mr. Weedman was upset. And here's why I was upset. I could always start another Instagram. It wasn't about losing my Instagram. It was losing the community that I was a part of. Almost 2,700 people, and they're not bots. They're not made up people. They're not fake. These are people that I talk to every day. From Tez in Australia to No Fear Medic in Wyoming to everybody around the world. I mean, when I lost that, that's what I was most disappointed about. To our co-host on the show, our buddy Big Earl, in Michigan. He was backing me up, and all the people that I reached out to on the new account that was like, solid. Thank you for helping me out. Thank you for making me feel better. And then all of a sudden, my friggin' account got turned back on because Mrs. Weedman called me up and goes, I think your account's back on. And I was like, I was Sunday driving back to Michigan, and I was fucking on cloud 100 because I didn't lose what the people that I've gotten to know since we started this 4 years ago. That little video that I posted, the Halloween video. And I was hurt because I didn't know how to get all the people in the community back. I think that was what I was the most upset about. I mean, we get hundreds of messages a week now from people just talking, and I love it. And there's chats now, people talking about cannabis, and there's just sharing their experiences and what's going on in their life, and just you wouldn't have met any of these people, and I wouldn't have met any of these people. So I appreciate everybody out there in the world for supporting, us on the Weedman 420 Chronicles Instagram, and it would have sucked. So everybody out in the world, I love you, and thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting, and thank you for just sharing the vibe that we do, because we like to bring our vibe to everybody out there. It's just about getting high and having a good time, right, Mrs. Weedman?
That's right.
As Paulie always says, smoke smart, puff puff and away.
Puff puff pass.